the sky when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light.
News break, I'm Terrence Bates. The White House says inflation is cooling. The president and the administration as a whole point to dipping gas prices and an overall stronger economy. Yet, still, many Americans report not feeling the benefits, and that's part of the reason gold is gaining momentum. Let's bring in Birch Gold Group precious metal specialist Philip Patrick to discuss. Philip, good morning.
Terrence.
All right, so let's talk about this feeling of uneasiness that many Americans still feel. Is it a justified uneasiness?
Look, I think it's definitely justified, but it is confusing, as you rightly pointed out. On paper, the big numbers, they look really steady. Inflation isn't spiking. Gas prices now have eased. Employment has been confusing lately, but we're still, at historically low levels. But ultimately, there is a disconnect. As you rightly point out, stability doesn't necessarily mean household relief. And the polls right now are telling us people are struggling. University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index is down about 11%, and the Conference Board's Expectations Index is hovering around where it is typically before recessions. And I think this tension tells us something important. People, I think, broadly feel like the crisis phase is over, but they're not yet confident about the future. And I think families are still feeling squeezed. Ultimately, there's a difference between economic reports and lived experience. And I think this is where the Republicans need to try and focus in the lead up to the midterms.
For many long-term investments, the only numbers that really count are the numbers that they focus on are how well their 401ks are doing. Monday, President Trump posting on Truth Social, and this is a quote, "Prices and inflation are way down and your 401ks are way up." It sounds like a good thing. Is it? Is it in fact a good thing, not just in practice?
It's absolutely good news. Growing savings for all of us is obviously worth celebrating. And, we're in a better position today than we were 12 months ago, without question, or 13 months ago, however long it's been now. But we do have to remember something important. Our 401ks are obviously not the economy. The median retirement savings per person is about $40,000. And if we count people who've saved nothing for retirement, the average balance is less than $1,000. On the other hand, prices are still elevated, inflation slowing, but we still have the effects. Grocery bills are 32% higher, rents 31%, home prices up 55%, utilities 40%. This is all a hangover from the Biden administration, but these prices are now entrenched and they're tied in. So yes, a healthy retirement account obviously is a benefit, but it doesn't fix the problem with higher prices and paychecks not quite doing what they did.
So long term, in terms of an investment strategy, a saving strategy, how should we be thinking about all of that? Should we be kind of rethinking the way we've gone about this?
Look, I don't think this is about panic. I think it's more about preparation, right? I think we are in a world now of sort of persistent 2 to 3% ongoing inflation. We have persistent federal deficits and elevated household costs. And I think in these sorts of climates, diversification starts to become essential, especially with assets that are inflation resistant. And that's where precious metals and gold come in. They don't depend on confidence surveys. They don't depend on optimistic forecasts. It doesn't adjust values based on headlines. This is an asset that grows over the longer term, keeps pace with the cost of living, and protects buying power. And in climates like this, it's more important than it's ever been to do that.
So for someone who may be interested, 30 seconds, how can they at least start to get more information through the Birch Gold Group?
It's very simple. Text America to 989898. Get access to a ton of free information on how and why to buy gold in the current climate. So really simple. Text America to 989898. Get access to free information. And then from there, if they want to learn more, they'll have access to myself and people like me who are there to guide them through.
I feel like the richest man in America because I have personal access to you whenever I need you. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Terrence.
All right, we'll talk soon. And again, you just heard it there. Text the word America to the number 989898 or 989898 and get all the information you can need.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate to factories from small towns to city streets. This is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
A brand new day here on the program. Happy Thursday. We've got a lot to cover here today from the Foxhole of Freedom. Glad you're along for it. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, one we have to have. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, the Nancy Guthrie case, as I was telling you from the beginning, would likely go south of the border. It has now been confirmed that it has. FBI working with Mexican police. Number two, a terrible ski hill tragedy, Lake Tahoe, California. An avalanche killing at least 9. Several others injured, but rescued from their would-be frozen graves. And number three, some breaking news to start the show today. Former Prince Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The Epstein files starting to take down big names. Former Prince Andrew in jail this morning in the UK. So it's high time to look evil in the face, to call it for what it is. Maybe I put this off for too long. And if I have, that's on me. But it's time to confront evil here and now. And I'm, of course, talking about the Epstein files. It's what everyone's talking about. 3.5 million pages released in just the last drop that prove without a shadow of a doubt that very powerful people in very powerful circles were engaged in very evil behavior. Most of which I can't even describe here. If you read the files, it's chilling. Many of the names have been redacted, many of them victims, but some of them potential co-conspirators, violent sexual predators and criminals. Then there's big players whose names are out there, like the former Prime Minister of Qatar, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and Prince Andrew, like I said, now arrested, and Bill Clinton and Sultan bin Sulayman, who sent Epstein a torture video that Epstein loved, or Leon Black. Here's a billionaire from New York City who gave over $150 million to Epstein for advice. And according to emails, this is just one of the examples I'll share. He left a 16-year-old girl bleeding, injured, without medical attention after he ripped her anally and vaginally, and then shipped her back to New York without any medical treatment. And it's far worse than that. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee says the unreleased stuff is even worse than you can imagine. Here he is.
This stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, I would seriously consider not doing that. Yeah. Because it will haunt you, this stuff that's in there. And here's the problem. The Biden administration, the Obama administration, these files have been out there forever. And I've said this many times. If they had the goods on Trump, you know that the Obama administration / the Biden administration, because it never really changed hands, they would have had that stuff out there. And this stuff just goes so deep, Benny, and it is very disgusting to me. And, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's from the pits of hell, and that's where these people will end up.
It's evil, it's disgusting, and the American people knew it would be, which is why they demanded the release of the Epstein files. We wanted transparency, but more importantly, we want accountability. We want the truth to be told. You see, transparency without accountability is meaningless. There are evil people in high places who are counting on Americans to be desensitized to this wickedness. They're counting on us to give up on accountability. That's not what's happening. I'm enraged, as is the rest of America. We want to see heads roll. We want to see more arrests like we saw of Prince Andrew overnight. Here's what I'm afraid of, though. The Republican Party is going to be the only party paying the price if it doesn't get its act together on this. We need to see indictments. We need to see charges. We need to see handcuffs. And ultimately, we need to see convictions, followed by real prison time, like the kind Ghislaine Maxwell is serving now, but in maybe more harsh conditions. According to this poll, 94% of Americans believe that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring for powerful men. This is a lot more than an 80-20 issue. This is just about everyone. This is going to be one of the most important issues of the year, not the economy, not immigration, but accountability. There was a large swath of young voters who don't really consider themselves Republicans, but who are tired of evil people getting away with their evil deeds. So they showed up and they voted for Donald Trump in big numbers because he promised to do something about it. Mark my words. These voters won't show up again in November if they don't see some results from these promises. Now, they don't think Trump is involved, but that is not enough for them. That's not enough. They want the pedophiles and the human traffickers punished severely. There are Republicans and Democrats mentioned in these files, many more Democrats and their donors than Republicans, but I want to see them all held accountable. It's what the American public wants as well. And the problem is this, that it's the Democrats who are preaching that message right now. And of course, we know it's all a bunch of hogwash because they sat on these files for years, like Tim Burchett just said, and did nothing about it. Nothing. Hillary Clinton is out there making a big to-do about demanding accountability over the Epstein files when her husband, Bill Clinton, has mentioned more in these files than I think just about anybody else. But she thinks she can just skate by it, just continue throwing denials. Listen to this.
Do you regret the links that there have been? You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him. Did
you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we
charitable work, huh? What, with 12-year-old girls hanging out half naked in pictures in hot tubs? Yeah, I don't think so, and neither does anybody else. And Hillary just happened to meet Ghislaine Maxwell where? At her daughter Chelsea's wedding? She was there, right there. See her? She was there, and I imagine that would not have been the first time you met her. She was invited to your daughter's wedding. Maxwell gave $1 million to help start the Clinton Global Initiative, and yet you feign ignorance about her? Come on, Hillary, please. It's pretty rich for Hillary to demand accountability when she's still married to Bill, who invited Epstein to the White House, count him 17 times. Flew on Epstein's plane at least 27 times, and has mentioned the files more than 1,000 times. The Democrats' calls for accountability are fake. Fake, just a political stunt. And I know, and I'll tell you how I know after the break, right here on The Steve Gruber Show.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer, in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind, and a story in the sky, when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/Rav and join there.
Hey, this is SEAL Team from Missouri. I like Real America's Voice because it's real news for real people, and it's real good.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from
All right, so here's how I know, because Les Wexner, billionaire Les Wexner, the founder of Victoria's Secret, is being deposed for his financial contributions to Epstein. It's a doozy. Listen to this.
There is no single person that was more involved in providing Jeffrey Epstein with the financial support to commit his crimes than Les Wexner. That is already, as we all know, in the public record. We've also directly heard from survivors about Mr. Wexner, about his involvement, and their concerns as to the enormous amount of money that was essentially transferred over and paid to by Mr. Epstein.
Yeah.
To be very clear, we know of approximately over $1 billion, it looks like. It's about $1 billion that was either transferred, provided in stocks, or given directly to Mr. Epstein by Wexner.
There you go.
Now, it's important to note.
Now, Wexner, formerly a Republican supporter, those are all Democrats, by the way. He was a Republican supporter until 2018, but he left the Republican Party over his disgust with Donald Trump. He's been financing Democrat candidates ever since, including far left-wingers like former Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio. Is that why Democrats like Representative Robert Garcia there are rushing to give excuses like Wexner? Well, he didn't know where the money was going. Over $1 billion. He didn't become a billionaire by not knowing where his money goes. He knows where his money goes, and he knows for what. He should be behind bars, too, it sounds like, if he knew what that money was funding. No question. A panel of independent experts appointed by the United Nations Human Rights Council have concluded that the files, quote, suggest an existence of a global criminal enterprise that carried out acts meeting the legal threshold of crimes against humanity. Does Pizzagate come to mind? Criminals should be held accountable for these crimes against humanity, and it shouldn't be Democrats hogging all the camera time demanding that. Obama's personal White House attorney, his personal White House attorney, Catherine Rumler, has resigned from Goldman Sachs because the files just released show she was cozy with Epstein during her time in Obama's White House, calling him Uncle Jeffrey. These are the kind of people who need to see investigations launched immediately. And I understand that investigations need evidence and take time, but that's why our tax dollars go toward the institutions like the FBI and the DOJ. They need to dig into all of this. It's also not a good look when the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, erupts into hysterics when asked about this in front of Congress. Here she is.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to me.
Claiming my time.
The time belongs to me.
Yeah. It's a question we all want the answer to. How does she not understand that? Who's being investigated? How many? Put it bluntly, she used the hearing to focus on the wrong issues. For example,
the Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. That's not what they're asking about. And for once, I have to say I agree with the Democrats. You've heard me talk about the stock market before. The economy is certainly an important issue going into November, but it's not the appropriate one to pivot to when there are Epstein survivors standing right behind you when you're being asked about the Justice Department doing its job. The American people have questions and an unquenchable desire for justice. We need someone who will take it seriously. I'm afraid today Pam Bondi has used up her last bit of grace with me. I think it's time to move on. I have two recommendations, by the way. Either of the senators from Missouri would be just fine. You've got Josh Hawley, who's been calling it like it is for months now. Here he is.
I think here's what I think is maybe a little difficult to believe. The idea that DOJ and the FBI, who prosecuted cases relating to this, don't have any idea who Epstein's clients were and that he had no record of it, of the clients. I don't know. I find that kind of hard to believe. I mean, my view is make public everything you can make public. That's what the president said yesterday. I think that would be, if they want my advice, and they don't, but if DOJ were asking for my advice, that's what I would say. Make it all public. Make as much public as you can. Listen, I've been an attorney general of the state of Missouri. I understand, like, these agencies often, they're always pressuring you as the prosecutor. They're always saying, please don't make this public. Please don't make this public. I just think whenever you can, so long as it doesn't interfere with prosecution, I think you ought to make it public. And in this case, I'd just say let's make it all public and get it out there.
I agree. Make it all public. Hawley has frequently been on the forefront of demanding the right thing from both sides of the aisle. Or you have his colleague, Eric Schmidt, the other Missouri senator who was also previously attorney general for that state. He's got the experience, and during his time as AG there, he had some remarkable wins that I think could translate into success for Epstein's victims. He's established the state's first cold case unit, which has already solved several cases that go all the way back to the 80s and 90s. But with diligence and new tools, his state was able to deliver justice for victims and families that was long overdue. He also kickstarted the Safe Kit program, which empowered the state to reduce the rape kit backlog by 100% in just a few years. I'm fine with either of those guys, but something has to change. We can't let Democrats hijack this moment, lie through their teeth, and steal a win in November because Republicans let the ball drop on an issue that's important to young Americans, especially young voters. It's only February. Plenty of time to right this ship, but it's going to take all of us letting our voices be heard. The economy will still likely be the most important, but if you want the young Gen Z vote to stick around, you'd better start getting some handcuffs on Epstein's circle of sexual monsters. And that's the monologue for today. Tell me what you think. Put it in the comments there on YouTube. Best place to watch the program, by the way. YouTube seems to be the leading candidate for folks. Just search Steve Gruber. You'll find it in about 3 seconds. I'll be right back.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
All right, let's continue now. Terrible tragedy. Lake Tahoe. I think they're still missing for one of those skiers. Massive avalanche. Worst avalanche, I think, since 1980 in this country. 1981. So 8 skiers found dead, 1 missing, 6 were rescued in Lake Tahoe after this avalanche. Nevada County Sheriff Shannon Moon said during a news conference that authorities have told the families the mission is not a rescue mission, it's a recovery mission for the last missing skier. They're on their way back to camp when the avalanche actually hit. Took the search and rescue teams hours to find the first few survivors. They had built themselves a shelter of sorts to try to defend against the weather, and the weather was remarkably bad. Gale force winds, heavy snow. California not short on snow this year. The rest of the West is, but not California. And this is just a terrible tragedy. An avalanche takes out, like I said, 9. We can just assume 9 people dead out of 15 skiers. Terrible tragedy. You know, a new year doesn't need extreme diets or complicated routines. It just needs consistency. You know, don't give up on your New Year's resolution just because it's February. Longevity Wellness helps you build that habit with one clean, all-in-one nutritional shake that supports strength, focus, digestion, and immune health. This is smart nutrition you can actually stick with. Start strong today. Go to longevitywellness.co. Use the promo code Gruber for a special listener discount. This is the all-in-one deal. Whether you're working out, you're older and you want to make sure you get enough nutrition, you're on some sort of a diet plan, including GLP-1s, and you don't want to lose bone and muscle, this is the drink. And the product is made from real ingredients. Make America healthy again. Will make you proud. LongevityWellness.co. LongevityWellness.co. Hey, if you haven't caught the new podcast with Kyle Rittenhouse that launched Monday, you should go to YouTube and check it out. I encourage you to do so. You can get to YouTube right there with that QR code. Join a growing community of supporters of this program. We're going long form for forever. We're going to have this program, but a chance to have longer conversations. Kyle Rittenhouse reflecting on his time as a celebrity following that shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin a number of years ago now. Go to YouTube and check it out. I'll be right back.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or editing.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hi, my name is Paul Foyer. I'm 404 in the Getter Chat. I love rap for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
You know, we saw this remarkable achievement by the United States military here over the last couple of days, where they flew a new modular nuclear reactor from California to Utah for testing in the back of a C-17. I don't think it was as big as a big SUV, but it has the ability to power a military base, maybe a data center, depending on how strong they can make these things. My next guest, Jason Isaac, is the CEO of the American Energy Institute, and it's a big step forward. Jason, thank you for being here. Incredible power is coming.
Steve, thanks for having me. Pretty awesome power.
Yeah, but the power needs are unprecedented. You've got these data centers being built. There's two being proposed and probably built within, 20 minutes of where I'm sitting. This is happening all over the country. What kind of power do we need? And is modular nuclear one of the big answers so that we don't take power out of the existing grid? Your thoughts?
You're absolutely right, Steve. It's pretty awesome. We're able to move nuclear reactors with a C-17 military cargo plane to have the deployment of electricity and have it up and running in a matter of days, to be able to demonstrate that effectively, as our Department of War and Department of Energy just did, is an incredible achievement for U.S. energy dominance, putting us back on the path to reindustrialization. And to bring the nuclear energy, the nuclear renaissance back to the United States, being led by states like Tennessee and Texas. And so what we need is these states to get rid of regulatory hurdles and get back to recycling spent fuel rods. Oklo has announced an agreement. They're going to build a $1.7 billion facility, create 800 jobs to expand recycling of spent fuel rods and Cold War plutonium, which still has a significant amount of energy left in it. And you and I, taxpayers and ratepayers, are currently paying about $1 billion a year just to store this stuff. It was in the Carter administration back in the 80s that said, we're no longer going to transport this material for recycling. We're not going to do it. It killed a valuable industry. President Trump is bringing it back. It's something that France and Russia have been doing since the 80s to their advantage, and it's time that we start to embrace it. And it's just an incredible movement to create more high-paying jobs and bring industry back to the United States based on affordable and reliable energy.
One of the important issues here is the type of uranium that's used. And this is not highly enriched uranium. You don't need that for these reactors, my understanding, which means it's not weapons-grade material. So it lessens any issue of losing track of this uranium, right? If it's not weapons-grade, then it's not going to be targeted by terrorists or foreign governments because it doesn't have use in that way. But it does have the ability to power America. I mean, if you have an SUV that can power a small city, and that's all it is, what a leap forward. Or AI centers or data centers, what a leap forward. It really does put the United States on the cutting edge of what's next, doesn't it?
It really does. And gone are the days of all of the above energy approach. This administration is focused on affordable and reliable. That's powered by natural gas, coal, and nuclear. Every 18 months, China is adding enough electric generation that's equal to the size of all the generation in the United States. Every 18 months, they're building an American grid in China. It's powered by coal. They're expanding their nuclear fleet. And if we're going to compete with China on industry and bring jobs back to this country, we need to do it based on nuclear, natural gas, and coal. I'm so grateful for this administration focusing on affordable and reliable and not political agendas.
And the key here, Jason, that I think is interesting, whether it's a military reactor like we saw in the C-17 going to Utah for testing, or private industry, it means that this nuclear reactor, this modular nuclear reactor, these small reactors, can power a data center. And we know these data centers take tremendous amounts of energy. It powers AI, which takes tremendous amounts of energy without impacting whether or not my lights are on. And that's really key here, isn't it?
It really is. It's going to do it affordably, but also being modular in effect. You've got oil field operations in remote areas in Alaska, North Dakota, and Texas that need power and need a lot of power in the early stages of production of oil and gas. But then that production quantity drops off significantly. What they need to consume after they've drilled the well, they don't need a whole lot just to pump that oil out and pump that natural gas out. So that's why small modular is great. You can move it into place, power the operations for the first several months, and then move it somewhere else. This is something that hasn't been done in the past and is greatly needed. And it's also needed for this behind the fence, behind the meter generation to power data centers free from the grid for decades to come.
You know, the way you just explained that, Jason, it just sounds like a portable generator. That I have at my house in case of emergency. I have a portable generator. Okay, we take it to Alaska. We need it there for a year. Okay, we're going to get things up and running, and then they can survive on much lower power loads. And then you move it to the next spot that is needed, and the next. What's the lifespan of one of these things? I mean, if it can be moved from here to here to here, sounds like they could be used on infinitum.
Yeah, you really can. And that's the great thing about nuclear is you make this initial investment, as Oklo's doing in Tennessee, as other countries like Natura in Texas building molten salt reactors. You are talking about decades of power generation, decades, not months or days or hours like a generator is going to run. This is something that's going to be able to provide power for decades to come. And that's really going to help continue this American energy dominance agenda.
Where are we in having, 10 of these, 100 of these, 1,000 of these generators like I saw? I mean, I saw the pictures. One of my colleagues flew on the plane with it on that C-17. I thought it was just remarkable. How many of these do we have? Are we just in the early stages, or have we been at this for a while?
We're in the very early stages. We should reach criticality, which basically tests and proves that it is a possibility and feasibility by July 4th. So they're going to flip the switch on criticality on 3 different reactors, 3 different companies by July 4th of this year, something that's completely feasible. And then you're probably several years away from mass producing these in anywhere from 5 to 50 gigawatt style size of electric generation. So we're still a few years away, but we've got to take that first step, and we certainly have.
And where does it put us? Last question. You talk about China. We know what they've been doing for years now, building coal-fired power plants while we bulldozed ours. It was a fool's errand to begin with. But where does this put us in the race with China or Russia or anybody else for that matter?
Yeah, they're focused on the much larger electric generation from nuclear, the traditional nuclear that we're used to. They're not focusing on the small modular to meet needs in certain geographic areas like we are. That's going to give us a huge leg up over these other countries. Again, bringing back manufacturing. This net zero decarbonization agenda is crushing economies around the world. It's impacted ours. We've shifted manufacturing away from the United States. We've become world leaders in clean air, producing more energy, and we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to export our clean air around the world. We're number one in the access to clean and safe drinking water. That's all powered by affordable and reliable energy, something that 7 billion people on the planet wish they could experience on a daily basis, and many Americans take it for granted here. So it's hopefully they're watching your show and learning more about this aspect and what powers our economy, but it also makes our environmental quality and leadership possible.
And you can find out more at the American Energy Institute. Jason, greatly appreciate you being here. It's a great step forward. America does great things when we're allowed to. Thank you for everything.
Amen.
Really appreciate it. All right, there you have it. Look, this is the future. Soon we'll have one the size of a toaster running my house. Wouldn't that be great? No more bills to the electric company. I'll be right back.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or editing.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hi, my name's Paul Poyer. I'm Poyer04 in the Getter Chat. I love rap for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
All right, so my next guest is out there on the cutting edge of technology to help you be as healthy as you possibly can. And I've heard from Ivy for years about the benefits of red light therapy, and I'm like, I'm kind of, I'm always on the fence, but then I see the results. And Rob Renee is with me, the founder of Exodus Strong. Rob, good morning. So last night, I'll just tell this quick story because it was funny. But I go upstairs to the bedroom last night, and I walk around the corner, and I about jump out of my skin because Ivy's got the face mask on, and of course it's got the red light that glows through the eye holes. But man, she looks great, and she really believes in this product and uses it pretty much every night. She just caught me off guard last night. I wasn't expecting to see, the whole, face mask. Yeah, but it works. Why is red light so important, and what is the scientific impact of red light on you as a human being when you use it in different parts of your body?
Yeah, it's such an incredible technology, and it's been really frustrating for me to learn because there's so much junk out there. There's so many ads out there that are selling these solutions. But the $1 million question is, and why I'm here this morning, because I want the people who are buying stuff is to essentially know that they're getting a glorified nightlight with most of the things that are out there, right? And that's to get meaningful results, you need real relief from discomfort and real cellular support. You need three things. So you need the right wavelengths, the right power density, and deep penetration. The cheap stuff just hits your skin, it bounces off, and you feel nothing. You get no results. And then you think red light therapy doesn't work, but it does work, but only if the technology is real.
It's about a frequency. Look, life's a frequency. Whether you listen to this program, you look at a night light, like you said, or you have red light therapy, it's about the proper frequency to do the proper things. I mean, I figured that out along the way. Ivy's a real health guru. People who watch this program know that she is really just immersed in health products and doing the right thing. She looks great. She feels great. And red light's a big part of the deal. But it's not just her. You had some issues with your wife's hip and upper leg, and you brought red light therapy to the rescue, right?
Yeah, it did. And then even I was dealing with chronic discomfort, and I spent thousands of dollars on these clinical panels, the big, $8,000 units you see at the high-end spas, and they work, but they're huge and they're expensive. The beds are $15,000 you do it lie in. And then I tried the cheap stuff. And that's just, they're all useless. So, my team and I spent a long time developing something just was inspired by NASA research. We took the clinical power of those $8,000 panels, but we put it into a flexible mat that you can use at home and you can take with you. And we added something that nobody else has in the world. It's quantum energy frequencies. The light activates your mitochondria inside your cells, but your cells, that's your cell's power generator. And the frequencies, which no one else has, tell the energy where to go and what to support. So the combination is what produces the results. That's the perfect way to put it. The light charges the battery and the frequencies give it direction. And that's why our users are reporting such good results and so much faster than all the other mats that are out there and the other panels. And the animals always know, right?
Yeah. Let's be honest. Too many people work behind desks like I do, don't see the sunlight the way we used to 100 years ago. We're not out getting that, that direct energy boost from the sun because we're all sitting in here staring at screens too much, too long. This can change this around. This can help you out. You said the dog doesn't know the difference. They don't know English except for a couple of things like, hey, food. But what do you mean by that?
Well, it's my favorite part about it, because dogs, they don't lie, right? They always know, and they can sense the frequency. It's one of my favorite things. That the dog lays on the mat and they're calm, and it feels good, and that's what's just been so fun. This is really for anybody looking to support your body's natural response to inflammation, and you find relief from everyday discomfort without relying on pills, right? You can, if you have back discomfort, neuropathy, joint issues, this supports deep tissue at the cellular level. It's really fun.
Yeah, so here's
thousands
the thing.
of peer-reviewed studies. Sorry, Steve. I'm so excited about it. Can you tell?
This is what's important here. You have the $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 machines. Then you've got the little, kiddie toys, I'll call them, that you can buy for 50 cents that aren't worth anything. Your team actually came up with a solution. It's a mat, a red light mat. And you've only got 40 of them today. You keep trying to restock, but they keep going out the door. So we've got a real special opportunity for people here today, because $597. $597 for a red light mat that you can use at home that has all the frequency benefits. But you've even got something. You're going to sweeten the deal a little bit today, aren't you?
I'm so excited, just because what we wanted to do, just how we opened up the show with what Ivy's doing with that mask. We wanted to bless the first 40 people that buy today. We have a mask, and we're going to give away the $179 value of our mask free today. But we only have 40 of them, so do it quick. But I'm so excited, because it's really the first time that we've been able to do this combination. And your community's been a blessing, and we want to bless the community back.
Well, I appreciate that. So you get the red light mat and the mask, same price, $597. Go to QEstrong.com/Gruber, the promo code Gruber. There's only 40 of them. Like I said, they keep trying to keep up, and they keep getting sold out. So I said, Rob, can you come back when you've got a few? He said, I got 40. Is that enough? I said, that'll do. Rob Renee, always appreciate you being here. It's a hell of a deal for people who want to feel better and heal their bodies. Rob, thank you so much.
God bless you. Appreciate it.
God bless you. Again, it is QEstrong.com/Gruber. You get the mask, and your wife can scare the daylights out of you like she did to me last night. You get the mat, all for $597. I mean, it's an incredible deal for your health, which we talk about here a lot. Again, QEstrong.com/Gruber. This isn't going to last very long, so if you want it, you better get on it. I'll be right back.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
My name is TJ Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or editing.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Couple of big things happening with the United States military and so forth. The United States stopped a near catastrophic prison break of 6,000 ISIS fighters and members in Syria. CENTCOM helicopters and diplomatic efforts moved detainees to a facility near Baghdad as the chaos in Syria threatened the idea of those doors being thrown open. Thankfully, that did not happen. And so they remain in prison and shall for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, as you probably know, we have a massive buildup of military in the Persian Gulf. Basically, here's where we are. There were negotiations yesterday with Iran and U.S. counterparts, right, in Geneva, Switzerland. Apparently went okay, but Iran said, well, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Newsflash, you don't have 2 weeks. A massive amount of air power has been shifted to the Gulf. A massive amount of military power has been shifted to the Middle East. Just in the last 48 or 72 hours. Iran, you don't have 2 weeks. Something's about to happen. Trump not discussing his timeline for Iran and what might happen, but I can tell you it's about to go down. Could happen today or tomorrow. But it's going to happen soon. He's not just going to let them continue to, ignore us while they murder their own citizens. So that's right in the forefront of what's happening. The military strikes on Iran are at hand. I can tell you that without question. By the way, if your flannel is thin, flimsy, or worn out after a wash or two, you're not doing it right. Muskox, built different, heavyweight, rugged, insanely comfortable. These are the shirts I've been telling you about for 5 years now. They're an American company from Detroit, made from thick, double-brush cotton. It actually holds up in cold weather, hard work in real life. And they look great, especially when I wear them. Every Muskox flannel helps support wildlife conservation, too. And right now, you can get $15 off. It's an investment, I understand. But you'll have this for the next 25 years. $15 off when you go to gomuskox.com/heavyweight. GoMuskox.com/heavyweight. Save $15 using the promo code Gruber or the promo code Heavyweight. You got two choices. It's so easy to remember. Just remember my name. Put it in there. It's live. It's active. GoMuskox.com. We got a lot more to cover. Follow us on YouTube. Check out the brand new edition of Forgotten America, the podcast, and so much more. I'll be back with 2 more hours.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music. This is the direct response to Bruce Springsteen's recent release, The Streets of Minneapolis. While Springsteen once branded himself as a voice of the working class, The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Download it right now. Scan the QR code or search The Boss on iTunes. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their